Everyone for joining in. And hi, Aina. Today's speaker will be Aina. And hi, how are you?
I'm
I'm
good,
good,
Harshita.
Harshita.
How
How
about
about
you?
you?
I'm doing great. So today's topic is about content repurposing. So before we start with the session, let's have a brief introduction of yours, and then we would begin with it.
Okay. Uh, hey everyone, I'm Aina. I'm a content writer based out of Düsseldorf, Germany, and I help professionals, businesses, and brands amplify their growth and digital presence through my content. I help them convey their stories to their target audience with total clarity and purpose. Main aim is to enhance their visibility across all social media platforms. So it's been 5 years that I'm into this content writing realm. Yep, that pretty much sums me up professionally.
Great. So let's start with the session. And meanwhile, if anyone has any doubt, they can put it up in the chat box, and we will be taking up it simultaneously.
Yeah, great.
Okay, let's start with it. Should I go next?
Yes, yes, Harshita. Okay. So the agenda of the session is to walk you through the process and ins and outs of content repurposing. And we are going to be looking at the following items: what is content repurposing and what it is not, the advantages of content repurposing, which pieces of content should be repurposed and how, and some great tools, tips, and resources to help you out in the same. So this is just a high level overview of how we are going to proceed, right? So next slide, Harshita. Yeah, so let's start off with what is content repurposing. So there are myriad ways to describe what content repurposing is, but I like this definition the best. Content repurposing is an act of taking an initial content asset and turning it into content assets beyond its original format. So the keyword here is format. You need to change the format of the content piece to fit it to the channel you intend to publish it on. This is very, very important because if you're not changing the format, that would not be called as content repurposing. Okay, so let me try to next slide, Harshita. Okay, so let me try and put this into perspective for you. Look, we live in the world of information overload, and there's more noise than ever before. There are more platforms than ever before. There are so many choices available. So it's almost, like the content overwhelm for the audience out there. So whether you are a company or you're a startup or a content creator, everyone out there is battling for audience's attention. Everyone wants to get more eyeballs on the content they are creating, and of course, reasonably so. Now, considering the content landscape that we live in, how do you stand out? Because if you're thinking of creating quality content and publishing it, uh, it's not going to do any trick because this wouldn't suffice anymore. We need to do something beyond it, and that is where content repurposing enters the picture. With the content repurposing, you can deploy this content repurposing as an indispensable part of your content marketing strategy. Creating content day in and day out just doesn't work anymore. Okay, so let me give an example. Yeah, so you can see in the picture that for example you have a blog post, right? Give me a moment, Harshita. Okay, for example, you have a blog post, right, of n number of words, and you publish it, and you see a good response. Now you see it is very well received. Well, that's a signal for you to tap into the opportunity, right? So you can use that blog post to create a YouTube video out of the same. Then again, you need to see the response of the video. How many views did it generate? If it's a good number, see what else you can do. So you need the main thing is you need to be able to register the opportunities as they keep popping up. For example, I'm just giving you a high level overview like how one blog post can be converted into a YouTube video. It could be converted into a slideshow. right? It can be converted into a LinkedIn or a Medium article or an infographic. So now again, that YouTube one blog post became four assets, content assets, right? Now again, that YouTube video that you created out of the blog post, that could become a snippet that can be shared on Instagram, or it can also be shared as a pre-recorded live on Facebook. And if you edit a couple of sound bites, it would be used as a podcast episode also. Okay, and now you can see the infographic. Your infographic can be very well used as a part of the Quora answer or the Reddit answer. So what I want to say here is that it's a cycle. Okay, so you need to identify the opportunities and cash in on them. And trust me, guys, it's worth every second of your precious time. Okay, so next slide, Harshita. Okay, now let's get to what content repurposing is and what people mistake it to be, right? But before that, I want to share this definition that I borrowed from HubSpot. They've defined content repurposing in such a graceful way. They say that when you repurpose a piece of content, you are doing one of the two things or both. You are either changing the format of the content and or you are changing the target audience for the content. Because if you are doing neither of this, you are not repurposing, right? Let me make it clearer for you. Next slide, Harshita. You can see a picture here. So I'm going to give you an example. For example, if you have an old blog, and if you are just changing the description of that blog post without updating the content for delivery, for relevancy, and the social media platform that you're going to publish it on, you are not repurposing. It's called being lazy. Just changing the description won't do the trick. You need to update the content with the stats, figures, relevant data, and quotes, right? Only then it would be called as content repurposing. Let's take another example. Suppose you have an ebook, right, and it is targeted at SMBs, small medium businesses. If you are just changing all the SMBs references to startups, that is not what repurposing is. Because if you want to change it, if you want to that book to be aimed at startups, you need to restructure it, you need to reword it, you need to update it with the relevant stats and figures and data, and only then it would be called as repurposing, right? So here you are changing the target audience. You're changing the target audience from SMBs to startups here. So again, it's repurposing. Another example, you can take a Facebook post, right? And if you're taking a Facebook post and you are just pushing it out on Snapshot, that is not repurposing. That is cross promoting. And people mistake it to be repurposing, but that is cross promoting. And if you take the same Facebook post and you recreate it specifically for the target, for the audience of Snapchat, that's repurposing, right? Because it's a new format now. So the bottom line is that you need to change either the format, right? Or you need to change the target audience. Only then it would be called as repurposing. I hope this gives you a pretty good idea about what content repurposing is and what it is not. The picture in the presentation clear the doubts, if any. So, okay, one thing I see nowadays, people are posting tweets on Twitter and then they are taking a screenshot and posting the same thing on LinkedIn, right? And then they call it repurposing. Guys, that's not repurposing, that is cross promoting. I also do that sometimes, but then I don't call it repurposing. Repurposing is changing the format according to the target audience of the platform that you're going to publish it on. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. Next slide, Harshita. Okay, so now let's discuss the advantages of content repurposing. Needless to say, it's a smart move to get the most out of your previously created work. The first advantage is reach newer audience. Okay, so when you create content, right, everyone doesn't see everything every time. So when you are publishing content for the first time, there might be a segment of audience that didn't get to see what you posted. So when you post that content in an updated version and a new format, you have an opportunity to reach a different and a newer segment of the audience, right? So that is number one. Second is extending the shelf life. Now we all know that every kind of content has a specific shelf life, an average lifespan, right? On the social media, there's a screenshot which tells you the lifespan of social media posts. For Twitter, it is 15 minutes. For TikTok, it is 30 minutes. Facebook, 6 hours. LinkedIn, it is 24 hours. And Instagram, 48 hours. YouTube, 20 plus days. And the highest is for the blog post, 1 year or more, right? So repurposing content allows you to extend the shelf life of your existing content. It kind of extends the content's longevity. Uh, it keeps your content alive for more days, for more time, right? So the number third is boosts your SEO. Okay, so repurposing is an opportunity for a business to target a desired keyword or phrase. This will only improve your search engine rankings. Look, when you're publishing some content in multiple formats across multiple social media platforms, it allows your content to be crawled by search engines like Google in many different ways, thus boosting your SEO, right? And the next is reinforces your message. Okay, so as I said earlier, in a world where people are overwhelmed with information, repetition is a smart move, right? Um, Posting your content in different formats across different social media channels reinforces your message and lets it sink in. Okay, so here I would also, I don't know if you're aware or not, there is a marketing rule of seven. Marketing rule of seven that says that your customer needs to hear your message 7 times before they take any action. So if you are using this content repurposing, it is an amazing way to hit that magic number, right? Because if you're posting again and again on different platforms in different formats, you hit that magic number of seven, and it reinforces your message. Okay, the last is positions you as an expert. Yeah, so when you post about certain specific topics on different channels in different formats, you position yourself as an expert in those subject matters. It kind of you kind of get perceived as an authority figure in the industry for those specific subject matters. So these are the advantages, and in there are, I think there are way too many perks. Optimal use of time and efforts, high ROI on your initial efforts without having to start from scratch, and all the benefits that I just explained. So I think content repurposing is simply a smart thing to do. Yeah. So next slide, Harshita.
So basically, in short, if we discuss, so it is all about like taking a piece of content and
Mm-hmm.
repurposing, basically converting the uh, like converting one piece of content into various other pieces, like in a blog
Yeah.
post, then in a LinkedIn written format, then a tweet threads,
Yeah.
Twitter threads, and YouTube video and all, right? So
Yes.
basically, this has a different target audience altogether, because some prefer video over written content, and some prefer written over videos or something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Only thing that you have to consider is that you need to either change the format or you need to change the target audience. Either of these two things should be changed. Otherwise, it would not be called as repurposing. If you have a blog and you have a blog post written on it, and if you are posting that same blog post on a third party website, that is not repurposing. Repurposing is changing the format according to the target audience of that particular platform.
Okay. And also, you gave an example of putting a Twitter screenshot on LinkedIn or on Instagram, that most
Yeah,
of us do's and sees, right? So you say
yeah, yeah.
that that is not repurposing, right?
Yeah, that is not repurposing. That is cross promoting your content. People mostly use that term as content repurposing, but precisely not that. It is cross promoting.
Okay. And if we take the subject and put it in another format, like suppose a tweet we convert it into a written format on LinkedIn, so that can be called repurposing, right?
Yeah, taking a tweet and then expanding it a little, elaborating on it, and then posting it on LinkedIn, it would be repurposing, right?
Right. Or even making it a carousel for Instagram, so that can be repurposing.
Yes, yes, that is repurposing. Absolutely. Okay. Okay, so moving to how to choose which content to repurpose. Before we get to that, let's understand the difference between content library and the content treasure house. Okay, so a content library is a collection of all your content, and a content treasure house is similar to content library, but it is not where you put all your content. It is reserved only for your high performing gold star content, right? The pieces that were winners and brought you the maximum engagement. In short, you can say that one is content library and the other is high performing content library, uh, means content treasure house. Okay, so I would next slide, Harshita. Okay, so before we proceed, I want to share one tip here. Uh, you should have a separate treasure house for long form and short form content because it will make things easier for you later. So let's come to how to distinguish your high performing content, right? So there are a few questions that you can ask yourself to narrow down your selection process as to which content pieces are high performing and deserve to go into your content treasure house, right? So the first question is, how did your content perform on social media? Now, social media engagement is an amazing indicator to find out how much people like your content. Like the posts with the higher number of likes, shares, and comments, they definitely belong to your content treasure house. The second question is, how did people respond to content? Now, likes and shares are not the only metrics to focus upon. We often overlook the emailings or DMs, and I always say that DMs is the place where actual magic happens, right? So if people are emailing you or DMing you after you post something, that's an indication that your content is, and if they're praising, if they like the content and they are DMing you about the same, that's an indication that your content is gold standard and that needs to go into the content treasure house. Okay, and the third question is, where are your click throughs coming from? Okay, so let's say you have a website, right? So you need to check your website analytics, which will show where your traffic is coming from. For example, if you find an increase in traffic coming from the LinkedIn post, that's again a pretty good sign that your LinkedIn post is treasure house worthy. It deserves to go in the treasure house. So, yeah, these are the few questions that can help you identify your top performing content that should be included in your content treasure house. Now, all the content that you put in your content treasure house, it is the one that is ready to use for repurposing. So, it makes things very easier if you maintain a separate content library and a content treasure house. I hope that's making sense to everybody. Okay. So, coming to amazing ways to repurpose your content. Okay, the first way is republishing your old blog post. Now there are a number of platforms that allow you to republish your old blog posts. Of course, you have to edit them for the format and the relevancy of the platform, as I explained earlier. Some good platforms where you can republish your blog posts are Medium. Uh, just set up an account and get going. Medium is a great platform. Another is Growth Hackers. It is particularly geared towards startup marketing. Then is LinkedIn Article. You can always post your blog post on the LinkedIn article. And then Quora, you can publish your blog in the Quora answer. And Reddit nowadays is booming, so you can also use Reddit for it. Okay, so second is listicle. So if you have a listicle type article, you can convert it into string of individual pieces of content. You can take a listicle, right, and pick one item and make a post of it by fleshing out things in more detail, adding data, stats and figures, etc. So one item of your listicle can be converted into a LinkedIn post or Facebook post and many other forms. Third is a cluster of related posts into a single summary post. Okay. So if you have a cluster of related posts, suppose there's a topic on startup, and if you have a cluster of related posts on startups, you can turn them into one single summary post and post it as a blog. The fourth is write a case study. You can pick the topic of your old article, find an example that illustrates your point better, or you can also use your own internal data to write a case study out of it. So your blog post article can also be converted into a case study if you supplement it with, you know, examples or your own internal data. The fifth is an expert roundup. Okay, so you take the topic of your article, and if you ask a number of experts about their opinions or tips around that, and then you can publish it as a brand new article linking to your old post. So that's also a pretty good idea of publishing a brand new article. And also, you'll be linking it to your old blog post, so it will bring traffic to the old blog post also. Sixth is you can make a presentation. If you have a post which is full of interesting data and actionable tips, you can always convert it into a slide deck, right? Now, for example, I am doing this presentation on content repurposing, so I always can go back and convert it into a blog post and create a blog post out of it and do that. Number seven, an infographic. Create an infographic. It includes the complete summary of the content of your post in a visual outline. So infographics kind of presents your complex info in a digestible format, right? Eighth is ebook. Create an ebook. If there's a specific topic, you can supplement it with added information, data, stats, details, and create an ebook out of it. And then you can use that ebook as a lead generation magnet, right? Ninth is creating a podcast. This will be a whole new way again to reach completely different audience. For example, I'm speaking right now and Harshita is recording it, and a couple of sound bites. If I uh, take a couple of sound bites and I can edit them, and then I can post it as a podcast episode. I'll be able to reach out a completely different audience, right? 10th is hosting a webinar on the topic, like I'm doing, and making a YouTube video. So I guess the possibilities are endless. Uh, you just need to register the opportunities and leverage them and strategize them wisely. Yeah. Okay. Next slide, Harshita.
Okay. I had a question, like one of the person asked me that,
Yeah.
suppose we have put up a post, then we repurposed it again. So can we repurpose the same content third or fourth time as well?
Yeah, as long as you're changing or supplementing it with updated information about the same. If you're changing the data and the stats, and you're adding in something new, you can repurpose it as many times as you want.
And it would, as you said, that it would vary platform to platform because
Yeah.
we have to change the format as well.
Yes. 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 Look, these are the evergreen pieces. I just explained that in the content treasure house, it's your high performing content. So high performing content is a evergreen piece of content. Only thing is that it should bring value to the people. It should answer the people questions, address the people's pain points. So yeah, you can repurpose it any number of times, provided you are supplementing it with good information.
Okay, great. Please continue.
Okay. So here are some screenshots just to demonstrate you that how these big shots are leveraging content repurposing. I follow these people religiously on LinkedIn. Like there's Eddie Schellner, founder of verygoodcopy.com. He says that he published a post as a micro article on his verygoodcopy.com website, and then he repurposed his original article into a comment under someone else's post, and people really liked that comment, and he saw a good reaction. And from that comment, he again created a LinkedIn post, which exploded. So that is a perfect example of repurposing. He posted something on his website, and then he created a micro comment out of it, and people liked it, and then he created a post out of it. So that is a perfect example. Next is Jason Redwell. He's also a known marketing uh, professional. He has mentioned that every marketing team should have someone 100% focused on repurposing their content. Yeah. So next slide. Gary Vee. Gary Vee is a we all know of him, and Gary Vee is a repurposing pro, a very very big advocate of repurposing, and he has a highly developed system that he uses to repurpose content. So he has a content model actually. If you go to his site, you'll see that he has a content model, and he religiously uses content repurposing. Okay, so marching on. Okay, guys. I just want to make sure if we are on the same page. Like, are you getting what I'm saying? Just drop an emoji or something to let me know if you're understanding what I'm saying. No one? I'm audible, Harshita?
Yes, yes, you are perfectly audible.
Should I continue?
Yes, I guess you can continue. I don't know what.
Okay. So, coming to repurposing strategy, um, when you're repurposing, you end up with so much more content to keep track of. So, to keep everything together by the campaign or by the topic, you need a system of apps, right? Otherwise, you end up with so much more content to keep track of. You need some system in place. So, here are a few apps. So, scheduling platforms, number one. There are plenty, but I'm going to talk about very few that I like or which I have tried my hands on. So, the number one is Buffer, and second is Hotsuite. Both are great scheduling tools. I'll not get into the details of these because I'm not an avid user of these apps, but you have to go and check them out. But I know that Hotsuite is good. I've used it, and Buffer is a paid one. Okay, so, next slide, Harshita. Writing platforms. So there are two, AirStory and Google Docs. AirStory is a very popular writing platform. It helps bloggers, writers, students, and subject matter experts to write more clearer and better. Like it's a kind of drag and drop document builder. You can collaborate with other content creators on the same piece. And second is Google Docs. I am comfortable with Docs only. Recently, I'm trying Trello also. It will take some time to get into the groove, but my favorite is Google Docs. Number three, audio tools. Audio consumption is on a rise. Podcast listening is only growing. So, Anchor, it is a great platform. It makes it easy to create a piece of audio using your mobile phone, and they also automatically submit your recordings as podcasts to the big players like Google Play Music and iTunes Podcasts. So Anchor is a great platform for that. Google Tools, Google Analytics, it is kind of compulsory for you to have. It shows you how your users interact with your content, including the total page views, overall social engagement, and the time spent on the site. So you can use all these parameters to decide which content is suitable for repurposing. So Google Tools is very important. Next is designing. My go-to tool, Canva. Canva has an entire library for graphics, for pictures, icons, and you can put them together in endless ways. And no design skills are needed. Endless templates, both free and paid versions. So Canva is great. For infographics, you have Canva again, and then there are Adobe Spark. Bytable specializes in video. You can use to create animated infographic videos with Bytable. It's a great platform. Then there's Vizme and Pictochart. You can go check them out. Offer a free trial and others don't. Free versions may basically there's always an limitation that you cannot. There's a watermark or you cannot export the HD or the PDF format. So that is the case in the free trial, but you can go check them out. Next is slideshows. Microsoft PowerPoint, it's a darling. Google Slides, then Canva again, Adobe Spark again. All these can be used for slideshows. Next is videos. Harshita, next slide, please. For videos, again, you have Bytable, Animaker, iMovie, Powtoon, and InShot. InShot, I'm a fan of InShot. All my videos I edit on InShot. So ninth is places to broadcast your podcast. There are many like SoundCloud, Podbean, Transistor, and Buzzsprout. Guys, you need to go and check them out because what works for me may not work well for you. So this is something kind of to each its own kind of thing. You have to go check them out. There are plenty. See what works best for you. Yeah. So next slide. Ebook. For creating an ebook, you don't need any tool or software. If you're using Google Docs, you can directly export your doc as a PDF file and you're ready to go. So creating ebook is also very easy. Okay, I guess I've covered pretty much all related to content repurposing. If there's any app that you people know and I've not talked about it, let me know in the comments. One more tip around repurposing, it's a great tip. I would advise you all to start answering questions on social media groups like Quora, Slack, Facebook groups, Reddit. Reddit is amazing. Answer the questions of your choice. Any questions that you think you can provide value to, answer those questions. And if you think that is bringing value to the readers and the engagement is good, you can make a blog post out of it. And when you create a blog post out of that answer, you can again notify your audience on these groups when you publish that blog post. I bet it will give you a good traction because if you see that the answer is performing well on these sites like Quora and Reddit, and if you create a blog post because you've already formed a community there, so when you post a blog post out of that answer, you can convey them that you can drop your link there and it will bring a good traction to your post.